Yeah, today we're just trying to stay alive. We're trying to have conversations that will keep us all safe out there. The statistics are a bit scary. According to Original, a South African monitoring company, 80% of the drugs imported into Africa are fake. How many of those make their way into Ghana? Well, the FDA tries to keep as many of them out as possible. They're quite vigilant at our ports, and they make sure that everything that comes in is kosher as far as they can do so. They also check at manufacturing points for anybody who's making drugs here in Ghana or making drugs that they hope to sell here in Ghana. They have to have FDA approval, and so the FDA looks into their manufacturing processes. It's all part of their legal mandate. The other part is that they're supposed to monitor the market, because in spite of everything they do, some people will still try and find nefarious ways of getting fake drugs onto the market. Now that's where the problem is, because it's impossible to be everywhere at once. So some of these drugs will end up in your homes. They will end up being taken by you and your children. And that's scary. So what they've done is they've figured out a way of helping us deal with it. But before that, let's try and assess the size of the problem. Our guest is Adela Ashie. She's the Principal Regulatory Officer for the Food and Drugs Authority. Adela, it's very nice to meet you. Good morning.
Good morning, Kojo. Nice to meet you too.
Excellent. Thanks for coming. Now, before we get into it and learn more about this app that the FDA has introduced, I want us to see how big the problem is. Now, we asked a few Ghanaians whether they will know how to check if the drug they are buying is real or fake. Let's listen to some of the answers they gave us.
Since we don't have anything to identify that this drug is fake or not, because we don't have that much knowledge on the drugs itself, I think we buy any medicine that we think is okay. If you go to the drugstore and then you tell the attendant there, and then whatever they pick for you, just pick it up, because Standard Board have not even given us anything to identify that this drug may be fake or original. Do you understand? Like a seal or a sticker to show that, okay, if you buy a drug with this sticker, meaning that is genuine, or if you don't see the sticker or don't see this emblem or anything like that, then it is fake. You don't have anything like that.
I have to check the expiring date on it, yes. So that's why I look for the authenticity. Also going through, like, sometimes you do a little research on it before you even get to buy it. And also you have to get prescriptions, because you just diagnose yourself and go and buy drugs. So basically, mostly I look at the expiring dates on it.
Apart from the expiring date, at times when you hold it, it will break. It's not hard. So that's what I check normally. How is the texture is. That's why.
Me, when I go to the drugstore to buy medicine, I just check the date, whether it has not expired. Because I've heard somebody say if your head is paining, you can use maybe para or maybe Bico. It will help you to do this or do that. So if I go, I follow what my fellow will tell me, and I will also go and do the same. So I don't check the side effect or think that is going to affect me. No.
Normally, I check probably the brand of the manufacturers of the drug, and that's exactly what I check. So I check that one when I think that one is okay for me. My brand is okay for me, so that's what I check.
Yeah, so that's what some Ghanaians told us when we asked them if they would know whether the drugs they are buying are real or fake. Adela Ashie is Principal Regulatory Officer at the Food and Drugs Authority. Adela, did you hear anything there that is actually a good way of checking whether a drug is real or fake?
Okay, thank you very much. So I'd like to say good morning to our audience this morning. So generally, I think the general public has some piece of information as to how to check for the quality of a product. And it's good that they are at least conscious that they need to check, because we've come a long way for them to know that I need to check, because previously they'll just buy and consume without having to check.
Some of them said they still do that.
Yes, some of them said, and quite a few also said they look at expiry date, they look at the brand. So the brand person is looking at trust in the manufacturer. So if you have a big manufacturer, think that the product is good. So we're looking at the expiry dates. So to check that it's not expired, because generally if a product has gone bad or it has expired, then there's concern that it might cause you more harm for what you are taking. So those are some piece of information. But then if I could start from the top, the FDA actually said, I mean, today you came to work, you either have had some breakfast, FDA is responsible for that, or you might have used some cosmetic product, FDA is responsible for that, or you have taken some medication, FDA is responsible for that. So generally, we said that your well-being is our priority, and we take this activity very seriously. So all the things that we put in place are to make sure that at the end, the products that we have certified as being good for use are safe, efficacious, of good quality. So in your intro, you mentioned how FDA does all these activities with the registration process that we go through. But then, as you emphasize, it is the post-marketing that is very, very important. And regulators are moving and putting more efforts in post-marketing, because during the registration, you can sometimes rely on information or assessment done by other countries. But they cannot expect that products that are being used in maybe Nigeria or in Europe, their safety information directly applies to you. You must also collect yours, then add theirs to it as a way of complementing the data and then take regulatory actions. So we have two different activities that we put together to ensure that the products are continuously safe, efficacious, good quality on the market. And the first one is the post-market surveillance, where we have our departments going into the market and then finding out, do the products that are there meet our compliance requirements? For example, do they have writing, labeling that meets our labeling requirements? So we have compliance indicators, one being labeling. So if, for example, we have a product that there's no English writing on it, straight away you should know that there's not a registered product. So you can, when you take it, you are going to harm yourself. Other things that you could look out for to ascertain that the product is quality is the manufacturing details. You must have the manufacturer's name. You must have the country of manufacturing. So if you just have the manufacturer's name, it's not enough. You must have the specific site address. So those are the new requirements. And then, of course, the information about the expiry date and the batch numbers. But the key things are manufacturing details and expiry date. Somebody will ask, what about manufacturing date? If manufacturing date is not there, it's fine. But if expiry date is not there, it's a problem.
Right.
But manufacturing date should also be there. So those are the activities that we do post-market surveillance. And we have the team that goes out. We have a risk-based approach in identifying which product we are going to look at. So as much as we depend on the consumers to give us intelligence information to work on, we also have a yearly plan to look at products that are high risk. So if you have products that safety affects more people, or plan that maybe within this period we'll have to do a survey and find out what's the quality of these products on the market, and then we'll go into them. Products that are vulnerable, have temperature storage conditions that if you do not really store them well will affect their quality, also do that. But apart from that, there's the safety monitoring department where I come from, where we look at the safety of the product.
Say that again. Safety what department?
Safety monitoring department. Okay. So that is different from the market surveillance department, where they go into the field to collect the data. Our activity depends really on information from healthcare professionals and patients. So you can have, and one thing I would like to point out here is that it is not, some quality products can also cause harm to a patient, and that's what we know, side effects. So you can have a perfectly good product manufactured by the right company, meeting all the requirements, and still cause you problems, what we call side effects. So we are not only looking at the quality of the product, but its safety of the product. And the safety can be inferred from the quality, but then also if you are holding a medicine, you cannot know whether it will affect you negatively or not. So when the person takes the medicine, then my department will do that, we collect the adverse drug reaction or the side effects data and then analyze it and find out what are the trends. Now remember that before a product is put on the market, there are side effects. Then there's the benefits you're going to get from it. That's the therapeutic effect. And the side effects are what we call the risk. And the benefits or the therapeutic effect is what we call the benefit. If you are going to approve a product for use, the benefit must always be higher than the risk. But then the information that we use to approve the product is limited because of the challenge of what we call clinical trials. So every product, when it is approved, must still have post-marketing safety monitoring. So what we do is that we collect this data from healthcare professionals and from consumers. So we have these forms in the hospitals where they're supposed to document the name of the product, who took it, when did they start taking the medicine, what is the side effect that they experienced, when did they start, when did they stop, and then they send to the FDA. So FDA has this whole system from the tertiary hospitals right to the CHIPS compound. And also not only in the hospital but in the community pharmacies. So community pharmacies are also supposed to make sure that they have these forms and educate patients to report the side effects if they have it. What do we do with that data? We analyze the side effects profile that we had before the product was registered. Is it still being maintained? Is it more? Are we saying that when 100 people take the medicine, maybe one person will have a side effect? Now, is it still 1 person, or has it gone to 2 persons or 3 persons? Now, if at any point in time we are having more people having negative effects from their medicine than the benefit, then we need to put in a measure to reduce that risk. The last resort will be to withdraw the product from the market, because we want people to have access to medicines on the market. Remember that having the medicine on the market also affects people's use, apart from knowledge of right use of the medicine. If the medicine is not there, people find all sorts of ways to use poor quality medicines, and that can cause harm. So we also have to make sure that the information is given out. So that is what my department does: collect the adverse reaction data or side effect data, analyze it. Now, I mentioned we have these forms in the hospitals. We also allow for telephone reporting. So a patient can call us, like Eric said, that his child took some medicine, it was not working, and he suspects that the antibiotic is not working. So that's a good thing. So all we need for healthcare professionals and patients to know is that if I suspect that I'm not feeling well after taking the medicine, or the medicine is not working. The medicine not working means it could be product quality issue. We'll have to do analysis. Having feeling worse off means that there could be something in it, and there are different things that could inform it not working well. So that we collect that data and then we take those decisions. The app that we have, that we are talking about today, that's the Med Safety app, was launched in 2019. And that was supposed to make it easier for patients and healthcare professionals to report this information to the FDA. Because sometimes somebody lives maybe an hour's drive from the hospital, or maybe you have to walk for 30 minutes to go to a community pharmacy to report. How can they get that information to the FDA? And sometimes if they go, how are they sure that the information is sent to the FDA? Sometimes the challenge is that the healthcare provider might say that, okay, this is something that we know will happen when you take your medicine, because side effects are mostly known. So then it's fine, you get well. But FDA still needs to have that information, because without that, we'll not know whether the side effects are occurring more than they are supposed to, or they are occurring less, or it's fine. So that's why you need to call it. So we believe that empowering the patient to be able to take their own healthcare issues into their hands and be part of decision making is important. For example, if you take a medicine, it makes you feel bad. You know it yourself that this medicine makes me feel bad. We have had cases where people go to the hospital and say, I'm allergic to this medicine. But how do we know it? You need to be aware. So patient empowerment is the way to go. In your introduction, you also mentioned that FDA cannot be everywhere. And that is true. And I thank you for saying that. So that is why we depend on healthcare professionals and patients. So this Med Safety app is supposed to be very convenient. We have apps. We have WhatsApp. We have banking apps. So the app is supposed to be easier. You are in your house, it's raining, it's a bad day. You can still report the information to the Food and Drugs Authority. And once we get that information on time, what do? We analyze it and then come out with information that this is the way to use the medicine, or this product has not been authorized for you, so do not use it. Or these people, category of person, should not take that product. So that is how FDA will go about making sure that people are reporting the side effects.
So how rapidly do you respond to these reports? So is it the case that, for example, if the person who sent me the text message, Eric, if he had used the app and said, my daughter bought this antibiotic, gives you all the details, bought it from this place on this date, took it for 3-4 days and got worse, would you respond to that individual report? Or how quickly or how sensitive is your response to the information you get through the app?
So the first question is yes, respond to each individual report. Now what happens is that the information comes into a database and you receive an immediate automatic acknowledgement of receipt of that information.
Right.
However, we need to analyze the information. And so what we say is that if you report a side effect to the FDA, you still need to go to the hospital to get clinical management because you need to get well.
Right.
The reporting benefit is that we're able to see what is happening with that particular medicine and how we can use that information to save the next patient from going through the same thing. So if you report it, you get immediate acknowledgement of receipt. And then the feedback on what action is going to be taken takes some time. And it's because we do not take the decision alone as FDA. We have independent expert committee members. So these are senior healthcare professionals. We have professors and consultants, some in the medical schools, some in the teaching hospitals, who have to review the safety information. So they review each one independently. So they will say, for example, Eric's case, they will look at when the person take the medicine, was it the right medicine for the right condition? When did they start? Is the medicine known to cause this kind of problem? Then what do we do? So that we take that decision. So the committee meets every other month. So based on that, we can give the feedback. But the clinical management is the immediate thing that needs to be done. And so once you report, you need to go to the hospital to make sure that you are being managed appropriately.
Right, if you just joined us, we're talking to Adela Ashie. She's the Principal Regulatory Officer at the Food and Drugs Authority. Now, the FDA has introduced an app. It's called the
Med
Safety app. And it's supposed to be a line of defense for all of us to help us report any side effects we get from taking drugs so that they can investigate them to determine whether they are real, fake, and how they can protect the rest of the public from them. Okay, that's the idea. They want to protect us all. For those of you who have just tuned in Kumasi or the Asante region via Love FM, we thank you so much for making the time. Those of you tuning in the Central region via ATL FM, we love you very much. And of course, our growing audience on X Spaces. Hundreds of you tuning in every morning to these conversations. We appreciate you very much. Keep your tweets coming, your questions, or now they don't call them tweets anymore, X's or whatever they are called. Keep them coming, okay? And we'll share them. We'll ask the experts to help with any specific questions that you have. I'm forgiven. What are they called, Sammy? Posts. Oh, wow, how generic. Okay, so they are not tweets anymore, they are posts. Keep your posts coming on X Spaces, and we'll put your questions to the expert for answers. Now, Adela, I think it's quite clear that the FDA wants to help protect the public. That's the idea behind this app. But from what you've described, if reports come in, it could take up to 2 months minimum for action to be taken on a reported incident or set of incidents, because your panel has to review it. That's the proper process. So so if you think about it, I could go and buy a drug, I could take the drug, experience a side effect, report it immediately, quickly go to the hospital, so thankfully I will get medical treatment. Then what I've reported will go through your system, take 2 months minimum. Your team will look at it, figure out what needs to be done, what action needs to be taken. Maybe it requires some warning to be put out there or some information to be put out there. But in that time, the people you want to protect, unfortunately, will still have been buying this drug. Would it not have perhaps been more effective, I can't think of a better word, if your app was rather designed to help people spot whether a drug is authorized by the FDA before they take it? Would that not be, perhaps have been better?
Okay, thank you very much. So, if I could go back a bit, it does not. We have a triaging system when we are dealing with the adverse drug reaction report or the side effects report. Okay. So we do not treat all reports the same way. If, for example, we have a report today that one person has died from taking a particular hospital, you are not going to wait for the expert committee. You need to immediately send information to all what we call our institutional contact person in the hospitals to find out, do you have this medicine that you've stocked in your hospital or pharmacy? Do you have any report of it causing harm to the person? And then based on that, we can take decisions. If it's we are suspecting product quality issues, our labs will immediately work on it. Now, the issue is that there's not every side effect that is due to a medicine.
Right.
People are sick, and so they are taking the medicine. So sometimes there's the normal progression of the disease, which maybe the person has not gone early and the person could die. And because it's somebody's product, you want to be very sure that you're taking the right decision. So in as much as you would like to say, okay, let's recall the product immediately, you need to be cautious in your actions. You need to have scientific evidence to say that it's the medicine that caused it. So there are triaging processes that we go through. So it is not everything that takes up to that period. If it is a known side effect of that particular medicine, then we'll have to add it and find out, is it now going up more than expected, or is in the same range, and what action needs to be taken. So I wanted to clarify that.
Okay.
Now the question about the app helping you. Yes, the app does so many things. It's not just a one-way communication where we are collecting data from the clients or the patient. The app also, where we have the list of registered products. So if you are going to buy a medicine, you could actually check, or if you are given a medicine, whether that product is registered. That information is on the app. So that's why we want people to download the Med Safety app on their phones from either Google Play Store or App Store for Android and iOS, and then have access, because then you can know whether this medicine I'm taking is registered. If a product is registered today, of course it will not be on the app, because it has to be put together. So it does not, we don't do one when we put them together. So every 3 months, for example, you can check if your product is registered. So you can actually check that. So apart from being able to check whether the product is registered, you also have a news feed where if there's any information on an alert about a particular product, if you are withdrawing a product, if there's new safety information or side effects about a particular product, we have put it there.
Right.
So the app does 3 things. You can use it to report side effects to us. You can check if your product that you are taking is registered or not, and they can have information, first-hand information on whether the FDA has put a new safety warning on the product or not. And also has a fourth issue, a property, where if you are particularly interested in a medicine, let's say you want to know all about diclofenac, you can actually put it in your watch list, so that every global information on diclofenac will appear on the app, and you can get a notification and then review it. So the app is not just as collecting data from healthcare professionals. We also give it information to the healthcare professional and the patient, so they can make informed decision on the medicines that they are taking.
Forgive me, I'm not an expert, so forgive me. But I would have thought that you would lead with that property of the app, the one that can prevent me from taking the bad drug, rather than the one that tells me what to do after I've taken the bad drug. I mean, would the public not be more interested in using it for the preventive purpose than the, what to do after you've poisoned yourself?
These are all complementary activities that need to go on. So for you, at the point in time, you must know that this product is registered or not. But when the product you're already taking and there's a problem, you also have to be aware of reporting. So it's all a one-stop shop. It's like a shop that's selling everything. So once you have that information, we promote all of them at every time that we are promoting the app. So we have had awareness creation programs even at the malls, in schools, medical schools, at hospitals, just to make sure people are aware of this very useful app, which will empower them to make sure that they are taking the right medicines. If they take a medicine and there's a side effect, they're able to report to the FDA. And then they also have newsfeed. We have recalled this batch of products. Immediately you're aware. There's a new side effect to this medicine. Immediately you're aware. So these are things that we promote equally, because they all, at a point in time, have their importance in ensuring your well-being.
Absolutely. We're talking to Adela Ashie. She's Principal Regulatory Officer at the Food and Drugs Authority. We're learning all about the Med Safety app, which could save your life because it's designed to help protect us from fake drugs and drugs that have dangerous side effects. We're having a fascinating conversation with Adela Ashie. She's Principal Regulatory Officer at the Food and Drugs Authority. Now, the FDA has introduced the Med Safety app, which is an app designed to help us protect ourselves as a community, as a society, from fake drugs. And she's been telling us how it works and how you and I can benefit from it. I just got a text message. It says, good morning, Kojo. I was part of an international team that led a survey on the illicit use of tramadol in West Africa, including Ghana. We found that the major routes for fake and counterfeited drugs came through our porous borders from the Far East. Some samples were impure and many were overdosaged. Tramadol is commonly used for moderate to severe pain. The street name is Tramol. I think we all know that. Some unscrupulous persons, through smuggling, have introduced higher strengths, which are the favorite for abusers. The usual dosage of 50 milligram tablets can also be abused. The answer to this menace is surveillance and policing our borders, plus tighter regulation. This is from Dr. York. And I guess that leads us quite nicely into my next question, which is, it's true you can't be everywhere. I think that is a fair comment. You can't be everywhere. But there are specific places that we already know fake drugs come through our borders. You know, both the policed borders and the unmanned borders. We know that drugs come through there. What is the FDA's strategy to combat this?
Thank you very much. So there are three things that affect quality of products on the market. The first one will be the strength of the regulatory authority. With FDA, we are level 3, assessed by WHO. So it means that our activity that we are doing should be able to help us maintain the things that we need to do. So
how
we
many
do
levels
that.
are there?
So there's up to level 4.
Okay.
So the whole FDA is
the
level 3.
The very top level is level 4.
Then
right?
from there we become a WHO listed authority. So we are level 3 now. We'll be going to level 4 very soon.
Okay.
But the safety monitoring activities is level 4, which means that our activities to ensure that products are safe on the market is at the highest level. Okay. Then there's also the part of the manufacturers or the market authorization holders, making sure that they are using the right good manufacturing practices to produce the products. Then there's the part of the patient or the client. So the client, they're varied. One, having the money to buy the quality medicine. Two, actually having the knowledge on how to use the medicine, even storage issues, identifying what are quality products and what are not quality products. Then there are the other ones which are outside this whole system, which has to do with our neighboring countries. So those are also there. Now the FDA has put in place, we have a very strong market surveillance activities. And at the border posts, we have 6 border posts now. There's Elubu and all the other ones that are there. So we have officers who are stationed there. And we work with the customs officers there to make sure that we inspect the products that are coming in. So the trucks are coming, we work with them. On most cases, we all agree. A few cases, some may slip, but we want to emphasize on the positive aspect where we have good relationship most of the time and about these products coming. So that's what we do. The officers are there 24/7, 7 days a week. Every year they are there trying to make sure that the product are coming and inspected. If the product is not registered, with the customs officer will have to seize this product. We have the ports, so Tema Port, Takrady Port, Airport, to also see what are these products coming in. Sometimes when we do all these things, we put a lot of effort. The staff, they are there in these border places. But also I want to emphasize the role of the patient in ensuring that these things are done, and the role of the general public. I think Mama V was mentioning about how engaging in substandard or falsified products is very lucrative. And so people want to cut corners. We have had cases where we received report from a psychiatric hospital where a client was given up to 10 times the dose of diazepam, and then the person was still agitated, was not calming down.
Wow.
Yes, so we asked, okay, where is this product? Where did you get the product from? Give us samples of the product. They gave us samples, and there was not single amount of diazepam in it. The whole thing was like cornstarch. And then some of the challenge was that we ran out of stock, and so we bought from moving vehicle. So having the right practices to make sure that you are buying from the right place, buying an authorized product that FDA has certified that it is safe, efficacious, of good quality is important. Clients knowing that they have to look at products. If it's all foreign English, a foreign language, there's no English translation of the information. It's not a product you need to look at. It's also another issue. So the FDA, we have very active border presence where the things don't come in. But sometimes you have Ghanaians going in and bringing in a suitcase full of medicine, hiding it in their car boots, putting in other goods that they are bringing it in. So we all need to put in efforts to make sure that we are doing the right thing. But FDA, we have taken this work seriously because everything that you have used today, most of it, if it's not to the clothing, FDA has certified. And medicines are not like regular commodities. They're expected to make you feel well. So if you are taking it, it's harming you, then there's a consent. So border activities are very key, and we are at the 9 border posts to make sure that we check all the trucks that come in as much as we can, and we get the collaboration from. So we also urge the customs people to work with our colleagues who are at the border posts very well to make sure that in the long run, it might not be you taking that medicine, but a family member of yours. And in Ghana, we are very social people. If a funeral comes, you definitely contribute.
Yes.
So think about that, if nothing at all, that your family member can't take the bad medicine that you have allowed into the country, because you are not there to tell them that this medicine, I know it's not good.
So, I mean, I think you've done a very good job of painting the picture of how we can contribute to this. But you've also talked about the effort you're putting in to policing the borders and the entry points. In spite of that, things are still slipping in. So is there more? Is there more the FDA can do?
So the FDA, we've done most of the things that we need. Actually, we've done everything that we need to do. And there's no country that does not have substandard or falsified medicine. I cannot think of any. Even if you look at the US FDA website, they're always having to do recall. They even do more recalls than we do because they can find out things are not working well. Other thing that we do is we collaborate with the international community to find out if there are some substandard medicines that are circulating in the region or in other regions that have potential to come to Ghana. So, for example, Nigeria is very close, Togo is close. We check. So if we look at these places, we have to find out, do you have any safety issue that's coming up? And most of these, recently we had an issue with paraclay, which was found in Liberia, that they did analysis. Our PMS is going around checking, is it on our Ghanaian market? The product is not registered in Ghana, but is it on our Ghanaian market? So far, they've not found any. But then we've not just sat there and said, okay, it's not on our Ghanaian market. We've released an alert to let the general public know that this product is circulating in the region. FDA has not registered it. It is not, we've not found it through our enhanced market surveillance activities yet. But in case you went to Liberia, you brought any, or you know someone who is holding any of those products, let them know that this is not an approved medicine. It has been found to contain unapproved substances, and so you must not take it. So we work with international organizations to also strengthen our activities that we are performing.
All right, listen, why don't we take some calls? You can call us if you have any questions about the Med Safety app or any aspect of the FDA's work in providing market surveillance and keeping us safe from fake drugs. Call us on 0302 216 541, 055 111 997. Either of those numbers will do. Adela Ashie is here. She's the Principal Regulatory Officer of the FDA. Adela, I've got to ask you this. You've been doing market surveillance, which means you sometimes spot fake drugs on the market.
Yes, we do.
How many of the people who are selling these fake drugs have you successfully brought to prosecution?
Okay, so our market surveillance activities, I mentioned a risk-based approach that we use. So, for example, this year, around February, we sampled oxytocin and other urotonic products. So these products are used to assist labor. So we sampled quite a number of them, and then realized that a few were not registered and was substandard. And then we've prosecuted these people who imported this product in.
Right.
So once there is the scientific evidence that the product is substandard, we do that.
Okay.
Those who come and say that we didn't know the product was substandard, you are supposed to know that drug is not a regular commodity. Just like even food, you must register it for it to be used. So they cannot say that you did not know that there are regulations about products or medicines. So we prosecute those that we find that they are not of the right standard.
Do you have any numbers? For example, this year?
So this year, I'm aware of the oxytocin. I think there were about 23 products that were not of the right quality or standard, and these were the ones that the people have been prosecuted, in addition to fines that have been made.
Let's take our first call. This is Claude from Tema. Claude, how are you doing?
Yeah, Koja, I'm doing good.
Excellent. What's your question?
Yes, my question is on the pharmaceutical companies in the country. Do they have any grading system for them so that when I'm buying a product, I know that maybe if I'm buying from NS Chemist, Tobinco, they are of good repute.
Okay, that's a great question, Claude.
Yeah.
We'll get you an answer to
Thank
that. Robert is in Sunya. Let's take a few calls and then we'll give the
That's
answers. So you can make some notes of those who are calling so that we don't forget what they're asking us. Robert is in Sunyane. Hi, Robert. Good morning.
Good morning, Kojo.
What's your question, Robert?
I want to ask the lady in there, FDA and then drugs, especially. I'm particular about these people that sell this aphrodisiacs. They are all over the place, and yet we know FDA is mandated to regulate drugs. What are they doing about these people? Because each and every corner, you see them, and it's more like they are selling sex and manpower, whatever. It's too much, and you are not seeing anybody coming after them. And are they also licensed?
Okay, great question, Robert. William is in Gumwabudubrum. Hi, William. How are you?
How are you, Kojo?
Not bad at all. Long time.
Yes, so Charlie. We do.
So, what's on your mind?
Okay, so by the grace of God, I think you have a post, but it's like you have not seen it yet. In 2018, I was part of a research team that did a research on fake drugs in West Africa.
In 2018? 18, okay.
Yeah. Now, one issue that popped up during our research work was the fact that there is what they call grading. So, Kojo Pharmaceutical Company Limited buys drugs from Mamavi Pharmaceuticals, who is the manufacturer. But then, what she would manufacture, for example, the para she would manufacture and send to, say, the U.S., is of a certain grade as against what she will supply you, Kojo, who is in Ghana. Now, even that grade has grade A, B, and C, and that depends on the cost. So how will the FDA be able to detect that and inform the public that, okay, these medicines are these kind of grades? And two, how will the app be able to serve consumers so that if I put in whatever information, can tell me that this is grade A, grade B, grade C of this particular drug?
Okay.
Thank you very much, my brother.
William. Thank you, William. Let's talk to Ben. Oh, today all our old friends are calling us. Ben from Adenta. Hi, Ben. Long time.
Yes, Kojo, how are you?
Not bad at all. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, of course. And, good to hear from you on the morning show as well. I've not heard from you some time back, but I hope you're good.
Yes, I'm very well. Thank you, Ben.
Okay, nice. I don't know. The kinds of people who work, they are paid by our taxes. The FDA people, not only the living in your studio. I mean, remember Manasseh brought some issues about them and time back. I don't trust those people. You can't tell me that shifting a goalpost. Now, talking about our border posts and so on and so forth. FDA officials are everywhere. They're supposed to check the medicines that come in. I happen to be a victim of this fake medicine thing, where I took medicine for some ailment and I was having difficulty breathing. When I stopped that medicine, that difficulty breathing went away. That's not, how many people can detect that? FDA has a lot of vehicles. I see vehicles dropping their children in schools. FDA is supposed to be going around our pharmacies. Do they do that? They don't. As somebody said, aphrodisiacs are sold everywhere. So are they blind? They are not seeing them. They are going to tell us, all kinds of grammar. We have to say, what are you doing? I want the question. How many people have been arrested? How many people have been prosecuted? I went to our pharmacy the other day. People with some private cars came, and then they were just offloading the graphs from their boots. These were from some of the countries that are very suspicious, and all these graphs end up with people. Another story, there was a lady who bought medicine. Actually, I met her at the pharmacy. Then she came back because the color, she was able to detect that the color of the medicine, though it looked the same, it wasn't the same. These things are rampant. Our hospitals are selling fake drugs. Our hospitals. this pharmacy, know what is safe. So my questions are, that Simon brought us an app. What came out with that app? Where you can just use either a short code or was it a QR code to check the medicine? What the FDA doing? Why won't they go round to inspect it? I mean, if they get listen right, they can employ me. I can take them round, the health officials round, and I can tell you every pharmacy they go to in this country, including hospitals and wherever, you are sure to find fake drugs.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you so much. Quite a few issues raised by Ben there.
Yeah.
Let's take one more call and then we can address the issues we've got so far. This is Abraham from Kumasi, listening on Love FM. Abraham, good morning to you.
Good morning, Kojo.
Now, brother, what's your question?
Kojo, I think we are not dealing with drug alone, but I have a question on drinks.
Okay.
People who buy drinks, whether water or this sugar thing that they allow people to drink, and then they will not put it in a conducive store, but it is open in the sun. In the sun, doesn't it destroy the quality of the product? That is one. Because all over the country, Kumasi, Accra, you see that the store is empty, but the frontage to the part of the road, they have parked their product they're selling, and then the store is empty. In the sun, is it good? Doesn't it destroy the product? We don't even know the number of hours or days the product will stay in the sun. That is one. Secondly, this aphrodisiac thing, a doctor, urologist, met the men association of the men ministry of Seventh-day Adventists. And at Kumasi, he said that their reports, they write the report, as the woman is saying, that they take reports from the doctors, the specialists. It is true. The man said they take the reports, but they don't act on it. These products are there. It's not only the literate that these products we buy it. Even the doctors, professors, the man said it. If he's lying, I'm also lying. Professors come and their situation is so horrible that they cannot do anything about it because they were depending on this drug, herbal doctors around. I cannot say. So if she's saying they take reports from specialists, it is true. But do they act on it? Because the drugs are being sold at the community centers where they have this megaphone on top of a metal and making noise every morning, selling the drug. And, men, we will go for it because we want to put our something somewhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Abraham. Thanks to all of you. Of course, we've got 5 issues to deal with. Let's see if we can get through them quickly. So we'll start with Claude in Tema. He wanted to know whether there is a grading system for the pharmaceutical companies in Ghana, so that you know which ones are top tier and second tier and so forth. Is there any such thing?
Okay, so what I want to say is that a manufacturer is supposed to manufacture what we call current good manufacturing practices. So the FDA, before your products are authorized, we go into these manufacturing companies and then we analyze based on these are WHO standards. What you have, looking at how you handle your manufacturing process, the hygiene, the way you get your samples, products, and go through the system. And so for a company to be allowed to register a product, you must meet these. So this is the minimum requirement. Right. And so if any company is manufacturing, they have met that minimum requirement. We do not have grading system that this company is that company is that company is that. Right. It is not. You must meet the minimum requirement, and everybody is allowed to manufacture once you meet those requirements. And the products that are coming out are good, are of good quality. And then they are safe. And it is not just one time that you do that. Every 3 years, you go back to assess if the company has maintained those standards. So not only manufacturing companies in Ghana, but those that are imported products too. We do these GMPs and manufacturing to do that.
Quick related question to this. FDA approves the advertising of these products as well.
Yes.
So if somebody puts out a product and says, ours is the number one, or the most effective headache cure or whatever,
then that once right, you should know that that's not an approved advertisement, because we are not allowed to say yours is number one. You don't use superlatives. That's the best. They're recommended by the doctors. Those additional information is not required. Your medicine is for headache. It treats your headache. Your medicine is for diarrhea. Your medicine is for this. And you know that there are some medicines or some diseases that you cannot make advertisement for. For example, you cannot advertise antihypertensive medicines. So it is only over-the-counter medicines, cough syrups, antacid that you can actually, analgesic that you can actually advertise. So any person who comes to say that my paracetamol is the first, is the best, is the fastest, best relief, that's not true. That straight away, the advert is not approved. Just to make sure that you are not deliberately deceiving the client, because for FDA to approve it, you must have met the requirement. You say your paracetamol is 500 milligrams. We'll check whether it's 500 milligrams. It dissolves in the blood system within this amount of time, which means that if the API or the paracetamol is quality, it will start working. And those are the things that we'll check. And everybody wants to meet that, it's fine. But the client, the consumer was saying that some medicines are expensive. Yes, if you buy some products, people have put more effort into it. It's like you are going to a restaurant, you are buying fufu from a restaurant. I've heard restaurants where they say fufu is 2 million or 200 Ghana cedis. But if you also have 50 cedis, you can get a restaurant. It will all satisfy you. And that place has been certified. So you can get a paracetamol, which is just that liquid, clear liquid with that taste that children might not like. Once it has the amount of paracetamol that is needed, it is not having any unapproved components, it's fine. Somebody can also do that paracetamol, strawberry flavor, fig. You cannot even taste they are taking paracetamol. They put more effort into it. So it adds to the price. But it does not mean that that person's paracetamol is better than the simple paracetamol that has been produced.
Okay. Robert is the one with the question about aphrodisiacs. He called us from Sunyani. He says, look, they are all over the place. And it's true. We see them all over the place. In fact, there is a poster somewhere by the roadside when you're coming from TUC towards the Accra Psychiatric Hospital. There's a poster there for aphrodisiacs. Call this number. Do you not see these things? Do the FDA not see these things? Why are these people still able to sell these products?
Okay, thank you very much. So aphrodisiacs, there are some medically approved chemical entities that can enhance male sexual performance, which have been tested, the right dosing, the right indication that which you are supposed to use are there, and so those have not been approved. So we have sildenafil products that most people are aware of and then they buy.
Like
then,
Viagra and
yes,
so forth.
those ones. Then we have those ones that you don't even know what is in that product. A mixture of things that some of them claim is herbal, but underneath you realize that they have gotten some very poor grade sildenafil in it that is making them work. Then you see this packaging with very unpleasant pictures on them. And straight away you should know that those products are non-compliant. They don't meet FDA labeling requirements. So even for a prescription medicine, these sexual enhanced medicines are usually prescription medicines. You're not allowed to put images of organs on these products. So if somebody has this product which is supposed to be prescription and has this very unpleasant pictures on them, you should know that they are not registered. Now the FDA, we work with Pharmacy Council in addressing this. So the FDA is, usually we work with the manufacturing companies. Pharmacy Council works with the pharmacist and the pharmacy practice. So they will also go out there into they license the community pharmacies and look at what products are there, how you are practicing pharmacy there. And so we work with them to make sure that these products are off the market. So some of the things that we have done together is talk to the TUC and the GPRTU to not let people come there, advertise unapproved medicines in their places, moving vehicles. They should not allow these things to happen. So that is what when we work together on joint sweeps, we have destroyed several of these products. But the market is there. People want to have access to cheap medicines, quick fixes, and then that's what happens. And it is worrying because in the long run, the long-term effect of buying these unapproved sexual enhancing medicines, you cannot even start thinking about it. And the worrying part mostly is young people, 18 up there, who are using it. exactly what they want them for is worrying. So these prescription medicine, therefore, more elderly people who have had problems because maybe they have hypertension, diabetes, or end organ disease to supplement their activities. But for young people who abuse these aphrodisiacs, so it's part of social activities that we need to do, educating them in addition to taking the products off the market. Sometimes they hide them and you don't even see them, but we are out there in the field and destroyed several of them.
But I'm concerned about those who are blatantly and openly advertising it. Not just this example of the one by the roadside, but go online, social media. You see people selling all kinds of strange stuff, things that are supposed to tighten women's, sexual organs and so forth, and they advertise them. They sometimes even have personalities, or social media influencers advertising these things. It's right there in plain sight. And your job is to regulate this space. Why are you not rounding them up and arresting them in a way that is public so that others will not be encouraged to do the same?
Yes, so we put in measures to do that. We have an advertisement monitoring department, and what they do, they just sit behind the TV and watch is going on. Sometimes it's difficult to find these people, so lots of intelligence activities need to go on to find the source. We did not use to regulate advertisements on social media, but we've started doing that. First, it's only on TV, radio, these traditional media space that we're advertising there. But now we are going to, for you to put an advert on social media, you need to do that. And like you said, these personalities, maybe on TikTok, they've come and said, this product is this and that and that. So we are doing that. Gradually, you will see the evidence what we are doing. But we also need to supplement or complement these activities with empowerment that do not use it. Seek the right treatment for whatever condition that you have.
Okay, we have 5 minutes to go, so we have to be quick.
Sure.
William from Goma Butubrum said in 2018 he took part in a study on fake drugs. They discovered something called grading. So sometimes the lower grade drugs are the ones that we have on our market. And he talked about something that we also played a clip of a pharmacist describing, that sometimes you can get the manufacturer to put a certain percentage of the active ingredient in the drug, and the rest of it is, like you said, cornstarch. So do you have a system that tells people the more efficacious drug compared to the less efficacious drug? Can the app, for example, help with that?
No, the app will not do that. The app is having the list of registered products, and if you take any product, it cannot tell whether it contains the right ingredient or not. But if the product is registered, FDA has gone through the process of testing that it meets those requirements. Every product has specifications. It's either British Pharmacopoeia or USP. So you say 5 paracetamol, 500 milligrams USP. So when you bring the product to FDA, we analyze, do the chemical analysis based on these specifications that are international standards. If they do not meet those specifications, you will not allow to. So for example, they'll say your paracetamol should contain between maybe 95% and 105% of the active ingredient, the paracetamol itself. 500 milligrams is very small weight. So every product has these bulk forming part, which is usually starch, which they add to it so that you can hold. You cannot hold 500 milligrams and swallow. So that's why those ones are there. So it must meet those requirements before we can approve it. So if it's registered, we are assured that those ones have met the requirements that they are supposed to meet.
Ben from Adenta, he had a bug in his bonnet. He thinks that the FDA, even though you are paid by our taxes, are not actually doing your job. He says he sees FDA vehicles dropping off kids in schools and so forth. He doesn't think you really make the rounds. He saw a pharmacist offloading drugs from their boot, and he's just wondering why you haven't taken advantage of products that are already there to help monitor fake drugs, like M Pedigree from Bright Simmons and so forth. That's an example that comes up very often. So yeah, that's Ben.
Okay, so FDA, we are out there. Maybe you should see our social media platform. You see how every day our market surveillance team is on the market, taking samples, just checking what products are there. Are they compliant? Are they products not registered that are there? Even just a few days ago, there were some recalls from pharmacies where they have stocked unregistered products. So we are out there in the field. We get a lot of the staff strength is limited. there might be some space that we cannot be at the time. And I also mentioned that we have a risk-based approach in these surveillance axes. So you go to high risk areas, look at the products that have high risk, and then you assess them. We cannot do everything at the same time. We are making sure that we are putting in structure that even if we are not there physically, systems are there to detect these products. So that is why we have 12 regional officers out of the 16, and the others have oversight responsibilities. But we have officers in the place that we are not. The officers go there, come there for a period of time, do these market surveillance activities. They come back, and the group goes there. So we are trying everything to make sure that our presence is everywhere. And these are schedules that we work with. When we get national service personnel, these people are trained and they don't sit in the office. They go out there in the field to augment the work that we are doing. So we are out there. But like we said, if you've seen something, also let us know so that we can also take action on those activities.
That's what the app is for. All right, we've got less than 2 minutes and one question to go. Abraham is in Kumasi, and he said, he asked about drinks. He said, does it not affect the quality of a drink if it is left out in the sun for so long? You see them, don't you, in the traffic and all of that, carrying these drinks in the sun.
So thank you. So every product, if it's food or drug, has storage conditions. And high temperatures, low temperatures, high temperatures, low temperatures, they affect the integrity of a product. So the products are not supposed to be on the sun. They're supposed to be inside the shell. When we go, we tell them that, we educate them that this is not the right place. Some generally do not know when it comes to food that they are not supposed to put on the sun. They want people to see that, but we tell them that put the product inside your shop. So this education is going on in the market, on the street. But then also, as we are speaking now, you are a Ghanaian consumer. You are becoming aware of it. So you also take the opportunity to let them know that they're not supposed to buy. The last time I wanted to buy some drinks for my children. And then I went to the shop. Then told the woman, I want the one that is inside the shop. She said, this is all that. I said, okay, then I'm not going to buy. Because I've worked hard for the money. I don't want to buy diseases from poorly stored products. So you are empowered. Use your money and by working hard to buy quality products and not these substandard ones.
Right. Well, listen, it's been really great speaking to you, Adela. Our time is up. But just before you go, if you can tell everybody where they can get the Med Safety app.
Okay. So the Med Safety app is available on the Google Play Store or App Store, depending on whether you're using Android or iOS. It's free to download the app. You don't need to pay for it.
Right.
And then you have the information on registered products. You have information on alerts or recalls that we've done. You have information on a watch list if you're interested in a particular medicine. And then if you have a side effect from your medicine, you suspect a product quality issue, lack of the drug working as you should, you can also report to the FDA. So you have to first download the app from App Store or Google Play Store, and then you need to register. You can use the app without registering, but what registering does is that you're able to have information on all the product you registered,
right?
All the product that you've reported on, or any watch list that you are doing. Without that, you can only send and you not get the best out of it. So download the app, register, and if you have any challenges, you can call any of the FDA offices. The Safety Monitoring Department number is 0244 310 and the FDA's numbers are 0.
Let's give them one number so they'll remember.
Okay, 0244 310 297.
0244 310 297. There's help at the end of that call.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you so much, Adela Ashie, Principal Regulatory Officer at the Food and Drugs Authority. We've really learned a lot from you today. We appreciate
Thank you for
your time.
having the FDA too.
It's our pleasure.